Hi guys, welcome to another chapter from my book, Graceful Thoughts. Give you a bit of context as I tend to do, just for honesty's sake. This book was written in 2020 in the backdrop of the COVID situation. Any references to Lizzie Events and Ian Timothy. Ian Timothy's from Lizzie Events, and Lizzie Events is one of the big promoters that I work with as I work around the country doing shows and readings and spiritual consultations and even demonstrations. So I thought, read another chapter, get some more promotion done. And this is my chapter called Salesman or Customer. A note to the reader. Well, by the way, it should also say for clarity as well, this bit I didn't write. This was the person who edited the book. A note to the reader. This article is an advanced piece of spiritual writing. It has meaning and teaching on many levels. Use due diligence when reading each paragraph to discover a myriad of meditations and understanding. Right, so here we go. Salesman or customer. Anyone who knows me will inform you he talks a lot. And I think a great deal as well. I observe and then write about human behavior and then see if I can utilize the essays in my spiritual work. I take my inspiration from today's jottings from two sources. Ian Timothy's book, Never Let Anything Worry You, and the song Sunscreen by Baz Luhrmann. Sunscreen is mentioned because of the song's verse, scientists have proved long-term sunscreen benefits, whereas the rest of my advice has no more basis than my meandering experiences. The point of quoting the lyrics is to reinforce the fact that my words are not set in stone. They are perceptions and observations of daily life. The song also informs advice is a form of nostalgia. Dispensing it is a way of fishing the past from the waste disposal unit, wiping it off and painting over the ugly parts and recycling it for more than what it's worth. And why would I write this? Well, it is a neat segue into my thoughts. I enjoy stretching my brain, testing out strategies, and most importantly, getting things moving. From theory to action takes a lot of drive, and when inner thoughts are correctly interpreted, something will happen. How do I make my thoughts and ideas active? Well, I put my words on paper or the computer as notes. The notes start a pathway of thoughts, and these become stepping stones towards meeting objectives. I also keep in mind anything worthwhile takes effort, work and patience, and always look at minimizing the jump size from one set to another. This ensures that success is realistically achievable. Also look at previous strategies and see if I can draw any new conclusions. These days I draw inspiration or enlist help from like-minded thinkers or people with a similar mindset. A method that is different from several years ago. Years ago, I wondered why nothing happened and why my life's spiritual aspects failed to flourish. Today, there is the expectation of discovery and enlightenment. At this point, sales people enter the story. When seeking change, I consider options and see if anyone has a suitable product that can help. Consequently, I've spent hundreds of pounds on training, and in fairness, most of the money was well spent. Have I achieved all that the salesman led me to believe was on offer? The answer has to be no. To make a statement like that, there has to be reasoning behind it. In his book, Never Let Anything Worry You by Ian Timothy, he writes of his admiration for Steve Jobs. By most accounts, Jobs was not a likable man, but his work ethic is without question. So if Steve Jobs was my teacher and I followed his advice and made his sacrifice and life choices, would I end up as rich as the computer maestro? Of course not. I have to say no. I haven't had his circumstances, and of course he could not become me. Even though he was a billionaire, no matter how much money he spent, he could not replicate my life. And his mindset could not enjoy every second of my life's experience. We are our only outcome. No one can change the outcomes of a lifetime. The results of my endeavors forced me to ask, should a salesman be concerned his product did not meet expectation, or is it the failure to fulfill the promise of the items potentially down to the buyer? In the salesman's defense, I rarely buy anything I didn't need. However, I reveal a tendency to be swept along at a sales pitch. I also mention the courses enrolled on are mostly delivered. But remember, perception of success is an interpretation of circumstance at the time and future outcome. But wait a minute, my last paragraph is now under review. Did I achieve most of what the salesman led me to believe would be attainable or not? If the answer is no, am I contradicting myself? The issue here is a pattern seen many times in many spiritual avenues, esoteric or healing. The paradox is we learn a great deal. However, the learning is never enough. Only when the learning becomes our own does it become active. I suggest that anything of a spiritual or esoteric nature does not have a form. It only has a force. Therefore, the form of the learning activates the force or nature of the idea. To make a sale, the salesman knows that the buyer has to need what is offered. In reality, the salesman has to provide an answer to a need. And many times the need or the invention is a product of the salesman. Jobs produced the Apple computer. He now has to persuade people they need its capability. He is persuasive. And the purchaser decides the facility to solve problems and carry out specific tasks is worth the purchase. However, the sales pitch and the investment are only half the transaction. One has to learn to use the machine. One soon discovers the operation is not as smooth as one imagined. Inevitably, some people master programs and software and become experts in training. No one could become the Apple computer guru Steve Jobs, although we can become competent at using the binary calculator he was involved in creating. Let's expand the idea. Imagine the spiritual or the esoteric are hardware or concept, and the teachings are software. Some become expert at harnessing the spiritual force and offering training and activating the process. So when I signed on to courses, I realized it is the training and the information that mattered, not the course's identity. And I'm pleased to comment, and the teachers mostly came up to expectations. But when reflecting on the teachers in the courses, I realized their wisdom is a stepping stone to finding one's own way to harness spiritual energy or force. No teacher knows all or any definitive spiritual or esoteric answers. Their lessons are part of an immense journey of spiritual enlightenment. Awakenings are manifold as I write these words. For some reason, I think of our planet spinning, and I'm forced to write. Spiritual and esoteric ideas will always be in flux. Sometimes there is daylight and we see certain aspects, and there is equal times of darkness or unanswered questions. And now I wonder why my inner self has insisted that I write these words. Perhaps we'll know in the next paragraph or two. I cannot be XX medium or XX hypnosis or XX Reiki master. And if I were to mirror or attempt to mimic those who taught me, I would achieve nothing. You see, I realize all of us have a teacher. The teacher is lectured, guided and taught by many someones in their past. As for my part, I cannot teach until I have enjoyed many years of practice and hard work. The mind must spin. There'll be nights of questions and days of realizations. Thoughts such as these enhance my work beyond all expectation. The spinning planet in the last paragraph. The original thought that I could be the next insert any spiritual or esoteric celebrity has gone. And I realize I am not their life. I have lived Rick Paul's journey. I've had successes and mishaps, and in the main, remain faithful to my beliefs. Take responsibility for my actions, which gives clarity to mistake and failure. Do I think I can be a counsellor, medium, psychic, or any other label? The answer must be yes, but not because so-and-so trained me or offered support. My future and success will happen because I remain true to myself and work within a real truth and honesty framework and seek the light or answers when there is a darkness or questions. Now I know there can be a label people recognize as Rick Paul, a label that is in constant evolution and renewal. I'll always credit those who help, guide and inspire, but here is a significant change. I realize how people see me is key to success and acknowledgement. I aim to be Rick Paul and known as Rick Paul. There will be no need to say medium, psychic, Reiki master. Those I serve will understand what is within the name. Will I become a salesman? The reply is no. My work is defined as a counsellor, medium, Reiki master, reader, writer, trained in hypnosis and neuro-linguistic programming, who has an immense interest in spiritual and esoteric ideas. All blend to help me serve those who feel drawn to my work. I am Rick Paul. Idolize people by all means. Train with them, be taught by them, let them inspire, but be realistic enough to know that even if you follow their instruction to the letter, you cannot be them. Utilize talents, work on the inner being, bring the authentic you out of the shadows. Don't let the inner salesman sell you a package of unrealistic dreams. If you do so, you will fall short and have a detrimental effect on your progress and confidence. Stand proudly in your light and aim high. Remember to put the steps in place to achieve your goals and own them. Hold a belief in the power of you, the individual, and not you, the clone. Go out and shine your light. And as I close, dear friends, I leave you with this thought: life is for living. And as Ian Timothy always says, never let anything worry you. Thank you very much for listening to this production, and hopefully catch you on the next one. Bye, guys. Thank you.